Lil Wayne was performing with a teleprompter.
I need that.
It's almost like they caught you in desperate times.
No, I was very desperate, you know? Like every time I'm trending online, like, you know, when Buntle sees it, she'd be like, oh, why are you trending for? And I was like, it's never like, oh, damn, we're trending. Like, what's happening? It's like, oh, what is it now? What are they saying? It's like, oh, people are coming at me because I'm a present father.
What a life. Yo, welcome back. Episode 2 of What a Life.
Finally have a name today.
Yeah, ignore last week's name. We just made that up, you know? No, last week's name was literally like the name that I came up with, but it shows that we run a democracy.
Sure. What, the rest of the team wasn't feeling the name?
That was not even a name. That was a placeholder, bro. That was not a name.
That was a name in my head.
I like this. This is real time, so we're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
let's
name.
go. That's organic.
My name, the name, I called it, welcome back to the...
Come up with this shit?
How you come up with this shit?
I
Like,
won't lie, that's kind of hard.
How is that even a name of a podcast?
That's hard.
That's kind of hard.
it's the, how you
Oh,
come
am
up
I
with
biased?
this shit?
Maybe I'm
about
biased.
us?
Yeah,
It's
you're biased for
not,
sure.
Look, how you come up with this shit podcast? It sounds like obviously Priddy got a whole new album. It's like how you come up with
Yeah, I
this
think
shit?
that's hard. I think it's kind of hard. I like.
Yo, tell us in the comments.
Guessing you up.
Yeah, you gotta let them know. Yeah.
Tell us in the comments how you come up with this shit or what
What
a
a
life. But it is what it is. It's called What a Life anyway.
Sure.
Right? Pretty.
What's up, King?
Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you so much. Savelo, Slikour, Atli. Come on, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yo, you
I
know.
know I kept you guys waiting, so jeez, I'm sorry.
Rappers, you rappers.
And I hate doing that rapper thing, eh? Because it's like it's always the rappers who are late.
Well, as expected.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the
We
rappers.
forgive you, Priddy.
Thank you so
It's
much.
like the rappers put on makeup before they come. We understand like the models and you know, and but the rappers also be like, yo, I was putting on my eyes.
Man.
You know, putting on my grills, trying to put them in. We're like, nigga, just
Nigga,
come,
just get
man.
Nah, I won't lie. I put an all-nighter. I'm back in studio. I haven't been in the studio for about a year and a bit. So I just started studio again like last week. So I only wrapped up this morning at like 6:30. I'm not wrapped up. I'm actually working on something that you have me working on, you know? But yeah, still kind of refining it. So yeah, I went to bed this morning, 6:30. I'm like, yo, my wife is like, no, it's cool. I'll take our daughter to school. You just rest.
Only to find out.
You know, dude, only to find out. You know, I wake up, I go to the gym, I come back easy. I come back with like 10,000 missed calls. I'm like, what's going on? You know, call my wife. She's like, yo, Slikour needs you. I'm like, Slikour, he needs the verb. Yeah, can't do here. Anyway, but man, I'm chatting too much. Yeah, let's
You
go.
know, I had
Wait,
to
can-
call
can-
you.
can-
I had to call your wife because I couldn't find you.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but that's family. Come on.
You know, plus,
family.
I literally said, I'm looking for Richard. You know,
She's like, she even said, she's like, yo, you called you Richard. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. Oh, jeez. Goodness. Yeah, I'm happy
So,
to be here.
can those girls come off?
Oh, yeah, Karen, huh? I mean,
So where do you put them on your sleeve?
Fire.
When they got a case, right?
Okay.
It's like, I think for the purpose
That's
of
like
this
false,
interview, I'm going to keep
false
them
teeth.
off. Yeah, you know, it's like, this is like 12 karat gold. It's got a little bit of diamonds in it, you know?
Shit.
It's just a 6-piece. I need to get a bottom end.
I'm thinking-
I've lost so many grills, actually.
I'm thinking rappers cannot go to CBD because niggas will mug you off your grill.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
they take wigs there, bro.
No,
Yeah,
but facts.
so-
But I mean, when you go to CBD, also you need to make sure that you know you keep the sporty low, you take
Yeah,
the
yeah.
jewelry off. You know,
Yeah.
you don't attract too much attention. Make sure that you know where you're
Yeah.
going in and out. Yeah.
you can't be saying I'm looking for Mula on spot.
Nah, you can't. Nah, you can't.
Sorry, but that time you like shining
It's like that. But I'm asking to get jacked. I'm asking to get robbed.
Kukubuza ukuthi why ungakangitshintsheli lezi zinto lezi. Yo, Priddy, let's check your knowledge. Let's check your hip hop knowledge because
let's
you know
go.
you're a hip hop cat, right? So I'm gonna
Jeez.
start it easy. You know, it's a celebration. I'm gonna kick some lines and then you tell me who it is, right? It's a celebration, having a good time.
That's the line.
It's a celebration. Heaven knows. That sounds like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Let's
That's
go.
what it
Let's
is.
go.
Let's wake up. It's the first of the
First of the month.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta be a certain age.
got it.
Athlete.
Okay.
Actually, wasn't
I'm
even
really
fun.
more
Yeah.
My two
Yeah.
Ks.
For sure.
Yeah. This one goes this is what you been. This is what you been. This is what you been. This is what you been.
I even Slikour doesn't
Doesn't
know
even
the
remember.
You don't even know it, yeah?
This is what you been. This is what you're waiting all year for. The hardcore. That's what is here for.
Yo.
Is this international?
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost thought it sounds local. Ish, I don't
definitely
know.
New
This
York,
is what
yeah.
you know what it is, right? So
It sounds New York, though.
This is what you're here for.
I don't know what it is.
this is what you waited all year for. The hardcore. That's what is here for.
No, I don't.
Ish, nah, I don't know that one. You
I
know,
would
I
not
suck with
know.
my own lyrics, guys. Like, I don't remember my song titles. Like, a lot of the time, like, someone would, like, tweet me. And, like, they quote a line.
"Oh, that's
and I'll be like,
dope."
yo, that's
Oh, you guys
fire.
saw
like
you know
that
what I'm
Wayne
saying? You
thing.
saw Lil Wayne.
Lil
Lil Wayne
Wayne
was performing with a
I saw that.
teleprompter.
I need that.
He's like,
That was weird as
No,
fuck.
I need that.
A teleprompter,
I
bro.
need
Yeah.
it. I need it. I
Uh,
saw that and I was like, this is
Because
genius.
he's
I need it.
freestyling. He's freestyling.
I need
Yeah.
it.
That is KRS-One MCs act like they don't know.
KRS-One.
This is what you waited all year for. The hardcore. That's what KRS is here for. Let me hit you with one
Crazy.
more.
I thought I knew that song very well, but that
Yeah.
didn't click.
Okay,
Maybe it's the flow is a bit suspect.
This is what you waited all year
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
The
you see, that
hardcore.
we
That's what
did, yeah.
KRS is here for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's how you want me to go. Okay, all right, cool. Let me hear if you got this one. This is the last one. Well, anyway.
you don't know the lyrics?
Slikour's like, think about it.
It's just that it's also gonna flow, right? It's also gonna flow. Listen to me, baby. We put something together that'll make you crazy.
Why is everything from ancient times?
I mean, this is a hip hop.
Listen to me, baby.
We put something. I'll even try get into the cadence. Listen to me, baby. We put something together that'll make you crazy.
Listen to me, baby.
I know Aki doesn't know for sure. 'cause-
I
Wow, I
myself.
could
Get it
surprise you
2000?
guys. I could surprise you. I'm just gonna.
Damn, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't got it.
Each and every day we're gonna do it things our way.
That sounds like that LL Cool J, Rakim.
Busta Rhymes, Janae and Busta Rhymes.
Janae and Busta Rhymes.
Listen to me, baby. We put something together that'll make you crazy.
It's still not hitting me, eh?
I,
Do you know what's up with
I don't know the lines to that song. I know the hook though.
Yeah, I think when you
It's
said the melody of the hook, yeah?
Okay.
I'll give
I
it
guess
to
you
you.
had to be a certain age.
Yeah, jeez.
Just say
That was like a big commercial. You know, Busta Rhymes said, "If you really put your hands where my eyes could see."
Yeah.
that was
Hey,
his
man,
single.
what it had to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
That was more like his street single,
Sure.
cap single.
Yeah.
And then like his mainstream radio single was like that Janae and Busta Rhymes. Janae and Busta Rhymes,
Bro,
it's a party.
when I started listening to Busta Rhymes, it was that joint with Mariah Carey. Please, bro.
baby, if you give it to me,
Yeah,
I
I
give
give
it to you.
That's my
Yeah. I know
generation.
I
But
feel
See, I
you.
know that one.
all the
I
other
know
shit
that one.
before
okay, you do
that,
that
I
one.
was
All right, let's go.
Are you guys serious? wait. Okay, I'm just gonna then we're gonna get into the interview because I'm
For
just
sure.
really going to like throw this in quickly.
Let's see.
And then I'm gonna just play for a second and then you're gonna go, oh.
Let's hear it, let's hear
Let's hear.
So we're referencing like 90s songs.
I don't know. It was
Clearly, that's the
Clearly.
game.
well, today felt like the 90s songs, right? Any other day.
But Priddy,
it
do you
could
have
be-
like lyrics that you just like that are just like stuck in your head that you're just doing stuff and you just keep blurting out? Is that a thing that you do?
Yo, you know what's interesting? Like a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
I don't even know this one.
You don't know it?
You know the song. You'll hear when the hook comes. Exactly.
Yeah, I know the
I don't know the lines to this.
Yes, actually, yeah.
I wasn't jamming to this, bro. I won't even lie to you. Like, nah, like you know, I have days where it's just like 16:32, 16:30, 30.
Let's go.
You have anything like that? That's
You
like,
know what's
stuck in
interesting?
your-
Like when I do that, it's often like a song I don't like. I don't know why
Yeah,
it's always
yeah.
like the songs that you
If it's,
don't
like, catchy, right?
They kind of just stay in your head, and I need to I'll be
Because you hear
driving.
it
I'm
everywhere
like,
sometimes.
why am I singing this song?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
But I suck with my own lyrics. But I think like lyrics that have stayed in my head like since the beginning of time are, I grew up. I'll be honest. I don't know if I can mention platform, but I grew up like a channel O baby.
Yeah.
So my knowledge into the game and all like the history that I have of music is from listening to Channel O, Okay. I grew up, I never had a laptop growing up, I never had a computer growing up. So all the music that I had, I got from like
TV
my
and
home.
radio
It was
stuff,
TV and radio,
Yeah.
unless an older cousin of mine plugged me with a CD or homie plugged me with, a USB nyana. But generally,
back in the days it was crazy because like you would actually sit with an album for weeks because
months,
you don't
years.
have that many
Sure.
albums anyway. I mean, I'm just thinking now, it really affects like the lifespan of an album.
does.
That you have access to everything.
It does.
Like I remember when I went to my brother's house and he had so many CDs, I was like, okay, I'm not connecting to albums the way I used to when I had like, you have like a few CDs and you listen to that, bruh. Like
it was road trips, rides with the family, with your parents, holidays.
Yeah.
Now it's very
or
different.
even stuff you record from the radio, bro.
For
You
sure.
take that
I used to
shit
tape
over
them
and
on my
over.
cassette.
Yeah.
The first song that I learned, the first lyrics I ever wrote down was for a song called Thug's Mansion by Tupac. But the version that I learned was the one that had the video. It had Nas on the second verse. And then only later on did I find the original Thug's Mansion.
Yeah.
But I think that's like one of the
Then
only
oh,
songs.
you mean
like
the
it-
acoustic one?
The acoustic one, yeah.
Oh, that's the one with Nas.
Exactly.
Actually, I think the one without Nas is crazy. That we do.
Yeah, that's like
Better Days.
I sat down and I
Yeah,
wrote
yeah,
that,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
pulled
mama
that
don't
over
cry. Your
from
baby
Channel
boy's
O.
doing good.
Yeah,
Yo,
Channel
bro.
O, for real.
Yeah.
That's literally like the base of like my.
Because I was curious, who are your influences actually?
Yeah, I mean my biggest influences. growing up, man, the first album I ever bought was a Bow Wow.
Which
Bow
one?
Wow album.
Unleashed?
Is it Unleashed? The one that has Bow Wow, Wow, Yippee-Yo, Yippee-Yay.
Oh, the
Where
very
My
first
Dogs, the
one.
very first one.
I don't even remember
What
the
is it called?
title.
I
Yeah.
forgot
I
what
don't
it's
remember the
called.
title. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, you were on that.
Yeah, Bow Wow, Shingy, Snoop Dogg, Ludacris. Those are like my guys. And the only when I got into high school that I started bumping like underground music, Chino XL, Ben Sharp.
You said something very interesting before, like around the time you're dropping Soul. You were like, it was like your
Jay-Z
first
album.
times listening to Abo, like Illmatic,
Yeah.
and what's that? The Jay-Z album
The
that always
Blueprint.
gets
Reasonable
compared.
Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt.
Reasonable
yeah.
Doubt, yeah. So that was like,
That was the first time. Look, I'll say like a lot of those albums, I think I've been in spaces when I was younger where people were playing Reasonable Doubt or The Blueprint. But as an adult, the first time I was able to actually sit down
Really
and
get it.
understand and get
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like was like now in 2020. Yeah, 2020 during lockdown.
so which kind of guy are you? Reasonable Doubt versus Illmatic?
Nah, I'm a Hove guy for sure.
So it's
I'll be
Reasonable
honest
Doubt.
with you, and I can get crucified for this.
Slikkour's already crucified.
Nas bores me a bit, eh?
He's already
Ja, bora,
crucified.
Shem, ja, bora.
Yeah, he's just not my cup of tea, really,
Yeah.
And that's not taking away his lyricism and how
Yeah,
great he is.
of
I think he has
course.
fire songs. There's beautiful Nas songs that I like, but like, yeah, one Kenya, man.
I need round 2 of this conversation because in high school I was more of a Nas guy.
Sure.
Now I look back and I slap myself like I was so stupid because Jay-Z is just way better.
Come on,
You
Hove
know
is.
what? We were having this conversation and we were saying the high school conversation.
Yeah.
In the 80s babies, it was Biggie
And Tupac.
and
Tupac, yeah.
90s babies.
For us it was Nas and Jay-Z.
90s babies, it's Nas and Jay-Z. 2000 babies, it's Casper. No, it's Casper and
AKA,
and Keenan.
yeah.
Sure.
And now it's
2000s,
Reese,
it's Reese.
Nasty.
right?
So obviously I was the big in Pac. So I kind of. It's funny in these interviews, I'm always feeling like Jay-Z in his new MK party.
Jeez.
He be like the oldest one out there.
Come on, Slicker still got the raps in him, dog. He's like Jacob Zuma and the MK party.
you know, this podcast got me like Jay-Z in the MK party.
Oh,
Should
my
everybody
goodness.
be
Change the
young, I'm
name.
the oldest one.
Oh my goodness.
Should be MK.
Jay-Z had a podcast.
Yeah.
jeez.
But Priddy,
Yeah.
before we get into it,
Sure.
what 5 songs are you listening to right now?
5 songs I'm listening to right now. Look, like I said, because I'm back in studio now, so the main things I've been listening to are my new stuff. I've been doing like a lot of features for people. But like, yeah, if I had to mention 5 right now.
Doesn't even have to be new, just stuff that you're listening to.
Sure, I'm listening to Friday for sure. He has a song called Stand By Me. Friday, I think, is amazing. He's got like a very soulful type of voice. You know, it almost sounds like his voice is like pitched down a little bit. Yeah, Friday, I think, is dope. My daughter loves that. You know, my playlist is actually like my daughter. If my daughter says, "Daddy, please play," like for whatever reason, her favorite song on my album is "What's the Math." No, not for whatever reason. You know, I guess my wife and I are on the song. So she's like, "Yo, mom and dad song," you know. So she asked for "What's the Math" a lot, you know. We've been playing "Beautiful" by Snoop Dogg and Pharrell a lot. Been playing "Mockingbird" by Eminem.
Oh, okay.
My daughter.
You and your parent
No,
bag,
but that's
man.
my daughter's request. Like,
You and your
She's an
parent
old
bag,
soul.
yeah.
and she's discovering all these songs from her TikTok.
Wow.
There's a song by Jay Huss that I love. It features Georgia Smith. I don't know the name of the song. I keep forgetting titles of songs.
That happens.
Yeah, and the last one, I've been listening to some Kwaito. I was actually listening to. I got a Kwaito playlist on my Apple, you know. So I've just actually been listening to the Kwaito playlist. So a lot of like my Gash, a lot of TKZ, obviously, you know. Yeah, even some bricks here and there, you know. Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
I've
the
been,
rapping-
this
the
week I've
rapping
actually kind of
Kwaito
been in
niggas,
my
basically.
Yeah, the rapping Kwaito niggas,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, Mapa Putzi.
Yeah. Were you like listening to Kwaito growing up?
I listen to more Kwaito than I listen to hip hop.
I got this since.
Story of many
Yeah.
people's lives in this country. Yeah.
Not
I listen
mine.
to more house music and Kwaito music than I listen to hip hop. In fact, Squatter Camp was the first. Were they the first South African? No, I was listening to Amo before I was listening to Squatter Camp. Amo was like my OG. Like he's the guy who really like introduced me into like
You met
the
Amo?
game.
You met Amo?
Yeah, I met Amo when I was like 16. You know. And I've been working with Amo since I was 16. I'm actually featured on his album The Principle, which dropped in
Oh, the double album.
you on The
2011.
Principle?
Yeah,
The double
That's
album.
crazy.
I was on a song with him and Salvin, actually.
Yeah.
I just forgot the title.
Oh shit. Bro, you've done songs with like Amo, Mr. Selvin, and even like Double HP and Ricky.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I got some unreleased records with Double HP, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking about Double HP, you've mentioned that like you got a co-sign from him before.
Sure.
I want to speak about your relationship with him. How was it like working with him?
It was so humbling, man. Like Double HP, I think till this day is still like one of the most humble and most genuine human beings I've ever come across.
Everyone says that about him.
Like genuinely, like I have this song called Twila Mama on my You Don't Know Me Yet project, which dropped in 2015. And the story, there's a backstory to that. So the day we're supposed to record the song, for whatever reason, maybe it was a day like today, I kind of forgot we were supposed to link up. I went to go do, you know, run my errands with my mother, and I left my phone in the car. We're at Eastgate Mall, actually. And I get back into the car a couple of hours later, and I see a whole ton of missed calls from Double HP. And he sends a message like, yo, man, I've been outside the complex for 4 hours, you know? So he was outside of Wichi 1080's place, you know?
Oh, to come record.
Yeah, so I told Wishi that, look, Double HP is gonna be there. Just keep your phone on. I'm gonna come join you guys later on. You know, Wishi passed out. Double HP stayed there for like 4 hours and then he leaves. Obviously, then I leave Eastgate Mall. I'm like, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to call him. I don't know what to say. And I get to Wishi's place like a couple of hours later, and the security tells me like, yo, man, there was a guy here, a rapper. He was here for like 6 hours. I'm like, yo. I thought he was like joking when he said I've been sitting here. He's like, no, but he just sat outside, sat in his car, and he waited, you know? So then I call him. I call him, he doesn't answer, and then he sends me a text. He's like, yo, listen, I'm just driving to go fetch my son. I'll come back. You know?
On the same day.
Yeah, on the same day. He's like, I'll come back, but just make it up to me. Get me an East Rand quota, you know? And whatever drink he wanted at the time, I forgot what it was. Could have been like, you know, it doesn't matter what it was. And that was just to explain that I had him waiting for 6 hours. He left, went all the way back to, you know, where he stays. Came back, you know, went to go fetch his son, whatever, and came back a couple of hours later. And that whole night, we sat with him from around like 6 p.m. It was myself, Wichi 1080, Reefy sings, and we sat with him until midnight, just chatting. that's all we did. We just spoke, laughed, we joked. We didn't even like record the song. And then I had a performance that night. We're performing at Kentari, and so I'm like, yo, man, we kind of need to leave. I got the show. Remember I told you I got the show. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Do you still need me to do the verse? I'm like, but you didn't. He's like, no, just give me 5 minutes. I was like, okay. He goes outside for a little bit, literally 5 minutes. And he comes back. He's like, all right, cool, I got the verse. He records the verse. One of the most fire verses I've ever heard, ever. You know, the next day, he even called through his guitarist who came to come play guitar. But that's how, like, selfless he was. Like, you know, like he's bringing in he paid his guitar, his session guitarist to come and play on my song. You know what I'm saying? And man, rest in peace to Jabba's soul, man. Like This
is you. You don't know me yet, no?
Yeah, I think he's the first person in the industry that's ever like come out openly to say, yo man, watch out for this guy, Pretty Ugly. Like he was tweeting about me, he was telling everyone about me. Like I used to meet people in the industry and who'd be like, oh, I know of you through HHP. I'm like, oh, gee, that's crazy, you know. So shout out Jabba one time.
Shout
man.
out Jabba.
Yeah.
You know, I think this album, you know, I'm glad that you took it back to that.
Sure.
Like for me, I was telling them that I think this album represents everything that Priddy has done.
100%.
You know, it feels like you know, when I listen to a song like Jaga, it's like it takes me back to those days. You know, those flows, just very dancey. Yeah. And then you have like the rapidy raps, you know, Soil days.
Sure.
And was that like an intentional thing? To be
Very.
like, you know, last album, I wanna put everything.
Very intentional. And I'll be honest, bro, when I was working on this album, it wasn't my last album while I was working on it. We only decided it's the last album after we were done with the album, you know? I just wanted to, you know, we did Soil back in 2021 and then we did Mud in 2022. And with Soil, I really loved Soil. It was the first time I'd worked with Stalo. So it was the first time I'd really got A&R'd. So I'm listening to a lot of people. I'm taking their beat suggestions. So a lot of the beats I didn't even actually really like, you know. I had to even bring, you know, my boys Wishi, Tenor 80, Herc to come and touch the beats, you know, just to give them, you know, because I was used to more bassier beats, heavier 808s, you know. But this time, you know, the label just felt like, yo, man, we just feel like people are really undermining you as a lyricist. Let's actually strip away like all the hardcore drums and let's just leave your lyrics.
Sure.
You know, so people focus on the lyrics, you know? And you know, so shout out to the label for requesting that. And when we were going on to Mud, with Mud I was trying to still work on something like Soil, but I still felt like Soil was too rappy. So I was like, yo man, can we balance the raps with some, you know, with
to
some,
me that
with some
felt like,
other
okay,
elements,
Priddy is
you
back,
know what I'm saying?
you know,
I got a lot of that, you know? And there was a lot of pushback internally, you know, from the people that I was working with when we dropped Mud. And then when it came to Dust, I was like, yo, man, and something I stressed to them was like, one, I want to collaborate more on this album. I don't want to work with just one producer, you know, let's bring in mash beats. And I was like, yeah, man, I want to give people like, I really want to fuse all the elements of Pretty Ugly. Because I felt like I dropped Soul and a lot of people in Soweto, my cousins, my family, you know, my friends, people that are amigo strate, were just like, yo, man, like, ish. That's dope, but like you're not making music for us anymore. You know, I'm like, oh damn, you know. So people will still request like songs like Smogol or they're like, yo, we need a Bula Boot. Yeah. So Mad, I try to kind of like balance that, but you know, at that time I was also super heavily focused on the fight. So we're training for the fight, and there was a lot of distractions around that album, and around that project. We dropped it. I wasn't satisfied with the push that we got for the album, and you know, so there's also a lot of pushback from me as far as just aligning with the label, you know. So coming to Dust was us coming together, saying, okay, cool, man. Let's, you know, what are you trying to put together? I'm like, yo, man, I'm trying to give people like a Pretty Ugly experience, you know. So I'm trying to somehow like create like a salad of all the music that I've made in the past that people really resonated with and put it like on one album. Is it gonna be sonically cohesive? Maybe not, because I have different sounds. but like we need to find a way to like kind of like balance these sounds.
You've
you know?
always been a one producer per project kind of guy.
For sure. Not really. With I was initially with
Richie,
You Don't Know Me Yet,
yeah.
you know, and then Egypt was the first album that it was Richie, and then we had Ty Wonder Ty. You were part of the sessions at some point.
There's actually an unreleased song that I captured you recording. You remember
Jeez,
that?
really? Yeah, I remember. Sabelo, we go way back, eh? Yeah, you know, so Egypt was the first time I kind of started working with different producers. And then in that time, I kind of got introduced to Citi Lyts, who was like Weechee's protege.
So you met Herc during like what, Egypt?
Yeah, during Egypt times, yeah.
So I first started noticing Herc like during Blackie days. God, he's been around.
Yeah, I told you.
You did say.
Herc has actually
Yeah,
produced Herc produced the majority of the GOAT album.
What?
And Herc produced the majority of the Rick Jade project as well.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so I've been working with Herc since 2019. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like also curious because obviously you talk about the project, and I do want to say, for me, my affinity to Priddy Ugly's music, I mean, Bula Boot was something I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
And I got a terrible memory.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like I told the guys about Bula Boot this morning, and when I was writing my questions, I was like, and it came, Bula Boot. Oh, that song. And for me, Bula Boot literally came before Vura,
Yeah,
you know?
it did.
And on your opening, you obviously talk about, like your intro, you talk about Citi, right? What kind of interaction or even relationship did you guys have was it through like the ambitious kind of connection? What was the relationship there? Because I mean, he's the first guy that you mentioned, obviously with Pro in your intro.
Yeah.
And by the way, for me, like the guys have said, I always felt that I lost you somewhere in the mix and the sound. I felt that you weren't pushing the envelope anymore with the sound. And I always had the idea that the reason why your raps, and your music is different from everybody, right? All the other rappers. It's got an original thumping bass. It's because I always knew you were a dancer also. So you have an ear for what's thumping. But it's kind of like you were still rapping, but you kind of lost the sound for me.
Sure,
and this album for me was an album that I could listen to all of it holistically, more than once.
For sure,
You know?
thank you, yeah.
So but anyway, my question is, what is the vibes with you and Citi when during your ambitious time?
Yeah, man. Yeah, R.I.P. Citi Lyts, you know. Me and Citi go way back. So I actually know Citi through Buntle. Because Buntle used to, you know, she went to Macaulay Girls High. So she was in Josie like a lot. They were at Gandhi Square a lot. And she knows Citi from those days, you know. So I used to see him like in like Bramfontein. He used to work at like a store there. And
That Skipper Bar.
it was a skipper bar.
I don't know, Pro work is clearly there was some
Nah,
nepotism.
there was not.
Because
It
Pro
wasn't- nah, it
also
wasn't
worked at a
Skipper
Skipper Bar. I asked him, what's in Kayantanya?
No, it wasn't Skipper Bar. It was one of these local brands that was out there in Braamfontein, and I would be there. Buntle was working on a film at the time, so there was like an office, not owned, but Wanile Mulabati worked there. So we'd go there often.
Oh, the actor.
And Citi Lyts would be there. I think Buntle and them were working on Hear Me Move at the time, so I used to be in that space a lot, and that's when I rekindled my relationship with Citi Lyts. And when I joined Ambitious Entertainment, before I joined, he was the first person I spoke to actually to be like, yo, Donna, what's the life out there? You know, do you think it's a good idea, whatever? And everyone actually had told me it was a bad idea. Citi was like, no, it's like it depends on what you want from it. You know, it's like you gotta make it become something. You know, I mean, I think you're dope. I think this is a platform. You know, we've all been fans of you, but we've just been waiting for you to get like, you know, that little bit of a push, you know? So it's like, that's what you get here. You get a push, you get people who will invest in your work, so let's get it, you know? And and I used to do like a lot of shows back in my ambitious days where, you know, obviously we shared like a bus together, you know? So often, very often, you know, I would have like a show in Garankuwa, and Citi Lyts would have a show in the East Rand, and like we'd first have to go fetch Citi Lyts from Midrand and then drive to Citi's show in the East, drop him off there, and then only then go to my show with the same vehicles. So what happened is that I started being late for my shows. late for like appointments, and then I had a talk with the label to say like, yo man, I don't want to be transported by you guys anymore. I'll drive myself everywhere I need to be, because it's the whole thing of like having to drop off like 7 pros at a time. Like it's affecting my stuff, you know. So I remember.
Plus, you can build your own car. You're like, I can build.
Come on. So yeah, man. So that was the last time I was in and around Citi Lyts, and after I joined Ambitious Entertainment, we weren't as close. I did a show in Swaziland, my first ever show in Swaziland. I went there with Java. And
was that Hypnotic Festival?
It was Hypnotic Fest.
I was there. So.
Really, yeah. We were working on Egypt at the time, and it's interesting. Like we got into, side note. I don't know if I should mention this. We got into, because I love my Mary Jane. So I just got a pack of Mary Jane. We're driving to Swaziland, and as we're driving, we see the military. There's like crazy military convoy. So we're panicking. So Java's like, yo, Fetsu, you need to throw this stuff away. I'm like, no, dog. Like, he's like, shit, gotta throw it away, bro. Like, it's hectic. I'm like, damn, So we stop just before the border. We get rid of the stuff. And we get into the Swaziland border, and Java's such a superstar that, like, customs didn't check us. They didn't stamp our passports. Like, oh, it's Java. They're taking pictures with Java. And they just let us in, Even coming back out, like they let us just out, like the same way. It was in my head. It was just like, I had to throw away my stuff.
Let me go back.
Hey, they didn't even check us, like And while I was there, I met Pro Kid, and it was the first time I met Pro Kid. And I just finished performing, and I was leaving. And there was a queue of people who were outside there just waiting to take pictures with Pro. And so I see that, I'm eyes. I'm like, I know him. I don't think he knows me, So and he literally pulls his hand and he stops me and he's like, hey, Ntwana, what's up? He's like, yeah, man, like, I know of your stuff. I'm a big fan of your stuff. He mentions Bula Boot. He's like, Citi Lyts put me onto your music. So I'm like, yo, man, that's crazy. He's like, yo, man, like, no, I'm a big fan. We should work, Fast forward to a few months later, me and Pro, I think it was one of his last, if not his last TV experience. We were on Club 808 because Buntle had just been announced as the new Club 808 presenter. And this show, they had myself and Pro Kid as the guests there. We even had a dance battle. But we weren't dancing to hip hop. It was literally like they were playing like, house music, we're dancing.
Pro could dance?
Yeah, I mean, he's a Kasi bro. He had like, he had the step.
He deserves it because he used to do a proper dance show also, Pro Kid, on SABC One.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, he used to do a dance competition, something. And I remember because he was a hardcore rap dude at the time, we're like, huh?
But Pro was dancing, And that was like my last experience with him. My last experience with him there was just him saying, yo, Fetsu, I'm gonna put him more, yeah. Just keep going. You're dope, you got a fan in me. That's why, like, I think when
you
I was
really
working
got
on the
all
album,
these guys really just saying nice things.
Yo, you've had so humbling.
You've had some real kind of like almost stamping from like OGs.
And I think for me, you had like a really good ending with Riky. It gets tricky if somebody passes on. And you remember you guys, there was a time
we weren't getting along.
Yeah. But how did you guys reconcile after the studio session situation?
Yeah, man, it was, I guess I've spoken about it like publicly. I ended up doing like another interview on a different podcast, and I think they had brought up Ricky's name,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, whatever. They're like, what you mean, whatever?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, man, I just had a bad experience with the Grootman, They're like, what? So I break it down. I was like, no, man, before Frank Casino, before Cly and all of that, I was a kid that like, Ricky was calling to his house, like, yo, come through, boy, let's get it, So I'm pulling up there. I'm bringing Richie with me. I'm bringing Cly with me, And I had to ask Ricky, I'm like, yo, man, because every time he called me, I just so happened to be with the boys. I'm like, yo, man, there's a boy named Clyde, there's a boy named, And I'm playing them Frank Casino's music before people even know the whole thing and all of that kind of stuff. So we developed a relationship then, But then what started happening is that, like, then Ricky started having studio sessions with all the guys that I introduced him to, and I wouldn't be part of, that thing anymore, But I also know where that came from because he had offered me a deal and I wasn't interested in signing,
Oh.
And then he got upset because shortly after that I signed to Ambitious Entertainment. So I think it also left me in a weird space with KO and them, because in that time they had also offered me the cast time deal, and I wasn't interested in signing to anybody, And then Ambitious just so happened to catch me on like, on a bad week, a bad month.
Really, you were anti-signing to labels.
I was
at that time.
anti, but I had in the mood at the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't get it played on radio. I couldn't, like the radio
So it's
stations
almost
that you
like they
think.
caught you in desperate times.
No, I was very desperate, Yeah, so basically Ambitious caught me like in that desperate moment. And that's kind of like when I was engaging a lot with Riky Rick. I guess he was like a bit upset that, he was upset at myself and Clyde. Because he's like, you boys went and signed to those bros. You weren't supposed to go
You wanted
sign,
to get both of you on.
Yeah, so I had introduced Ricky to Clyde.
And
to
Clyde
Clyde's
actually also
music.
ended up signing to Ambitious.
Yeah. Clyde actually signed before me, actually. Like maybe a
shit.
week or two before I had signed. So in that time, me and Ricky really weren't seeing eye to eye. Like I see him at events and like, I try to greet him, he wouldn't greet me. It was just like a bit awkward, And then I spoke about it on this podcast that I did. I had to be like, man, I'm really messing with Ricky. And then he gave me a call after that, maybe like a few days later, he gives me a shout. Like, yeah, man, Priddy, what's up, bro? Like, what you say? What is the stuff that you're saying on this podcast or whatever? I'm like, yo, man, I'm actually speaking my truth. And he's like, no, I feel you. But he's like, yo, but you could have reached out to me about that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, man, like the industry's so small, bro. We don't have to create more of like a divide between us as artists. Like if you have an issue, bro, like, we actually kind of live in the same area. We can actually like discuss it over the phone. And my honest opinion and my honest response to that was like, yeah, but Ricky, like I've been trying to reach you for the last 8 months. You haven't responded to a single one of my calls, a single one of my texts. And it's a bit awkward because at the same time, like you're meeting up with my homies, So it's not like you're not busy. Or it's not like you are too busy, And then like, he's like, no, man, let's let bygones be bygones. We spoke about it. It was like a 40-minute chat. And then shortly after that, maybe a couple of months after that, me and him started speaking more. We'd send each other some songs again. That's how I ended up doing Every Mountain Got a Peak with Ricky on the GOAT project.
Cypher, pretty much the Cypher complete.
Come on.
And you used that on the album.
Yeah, I used that on the album on a song called Rest in Power. I actually, because when we did Every Mountain Got a Peak, I actually didn't use the whole of Riky Rick's verse. We had actually chopped Riky Rick's verse. It was actually a very, very long verse. So I used parts of that verse on Every Mountain Got a Peak, and like that was just on my hard drive, and I used it on the Dust album. And what also inspired that is because shortly before Riky Rick passed away, in fact, I don't know if anyone knows the story. I might have spoken about it. A couple of days before that, Riky Rick had called me and was like, "Yo, Donna, he called me to apologize, really." And this is crazy because like we had already made amends. So I also didn't understand like what he was apologizing for. And just like, yo, man, I just wanted to say sorry, man. Like, I feel like, you just, he said whatever he had to say to me, and like I really resonated with that. And he's like, yo, man, I haven't met your daughter. I'd love to come through to bring like your daughter some sneakers, some stuff, like I just feel like a bad uncle, I was like, oh man, Ricky, man, I'd appreciate that, And he's like, yeah, also Cotton Fest, are you down to do Cotton Fest this year? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, yo, but we gotta do a song before we do Cotton Fest, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, for sure. And he's like, okay, can I come see you on Wednesday? Just give me your daughter's shoe sizes or whatever. I'll come through on Wednesday morning, before your day gets too busy. And he was also we're planning to do an interview because remember he had that podcast that he had. So he was bringing me onto the show, and and he was speaking about that. And he's like, yeah, bro, I want you to come on the show, but I don't want us to speak about music, bro. I want us to speak about like, what we go through as men, and being fathers and like,
Or same thing you did with Younger Chief or something.
Yeah, I didn't see that interview actually. He's like, I really want to have a real in-depth conversation with you. Okay, but cool, let me just come see you on Wednesday, And it's crazy because that Wednesday he was supposed to come see me.
The day that
he took his life, which hit me so hard, like it hit me so hard because it's like, man, like conversations that we're having. I mean, something did feel strange to me. I remember one day I was with her Cut the Lights, and I was like, yo, man, and Ricky calls me, and like, but he's speaking, but when someone calls you, but like, you need to now navigate the conversation. It's like, Ricky called me, but he's not talking. So I need to be like, oh, okay. Sure. So is everything fine? How's the family? Yo, Ricky, are you cool? No, I'm cool, man. I'm like, okay, Ricky sounded like a bit weird.
This is like one of your last conversations?
This is the last conversation. This is the very same conversation when he called me to say like, yo, I want to come see you, bring your daughter some gifts. Sure. And it was so crazy. He was just speaking to me about being being present fathers, how we need to be there for our children, you know, and like we need to stay strong. We deal with a lot, you know, we just gotta stay strong. And I was like, yo, man, I appreciated that. And like I said, 2-3 days later, yeah, he took his life. So I mean, R.I.P. Makado, which is why I felt like I had to like commemorate him on the album. I speak about him so much on the album.
You guys have the same name.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You and I have this line, you know, daddy took a fixed loan to fix a broken home. That line for me hits hard, right? Because it kind of feels like, once again, our parents were challenged by apartheid to keep stable marriages, relationships. They were challenges by the not-haves of apartheid. They were almost made to, they were emasculated, you know, because apartheid made men, like, you could be a man in your house, but you're a boy with a white man, right? It's like, I think the new level of apartheid is social media. You know? It's like you could be...
This is gonna trend on Twitter. New level of apartheid.
Yeah, the new apartheid is social media. And you know
I feel
who...
like it just got corporatized.
And you know who are the racists? Ourselves. You know, so you find a guy like Richard here, you know? Richard, who is in a rare situation where today, even being in a relationship is different. It's hard. There's a major divorces. You know, we could count, you know what I mean? It's just hard to be in relationships today. Priddy, in his world, as a rapper, credible, respected, literally like on top of the game with
Pretty much
regards
ticks
to
all the boxes,
to the merits of the industry he's chosen, right? But you marry like someone who's credible, respected. You also could have chose to dance, by the way. People don't know. You rap so hard, people don't know that you like a dancer too, you know? So Priddy chose...
dance group.
Yeah, you know, so Priddy chose to choose rap, but he does it at the highest level. Buntle literally dances. She does it at the highest level. Now, social media literally like sees the visibility of Buntle, because what Buntle does is more mainstream, right? But when Buntle and Richard are together, you know,
Stop calling him Rich.
I'm not even saying Priddy, right? When Buntle and Richard are together, it's a Rick, but it's Richard, man. It's Richard.
It's the same,
you know what I mean? Give it some richness with it.
I feel
Ricardo, man's a rich man, you know? Wish him richness. So, you know, so Richard does it. Both of these guys inside their house, they doing their art form at the highest peak. But social, and they also like raising a child, and they also like committed to each other at the highest peak. These two things that are rare right now with black young people, right? Social media literally like emasculates the hard work that like say a man does, right? Because what the wife does is more mainstream. What the wife does is probably has more visibility. So then you have to have a guy who's very progressive and can't read the social media things and take it back home and ruin what they have back home. Because there's egos. We have egos. Men have egos. I see this, y'all going, oh, so y'all think my wife brings it. So like now, whenever your wife doesn't even know why you like reacting a funny way. You know? What social media is doing, it's breaking the fragment of relationships also without them understanding certain things. It's like what Barack Obama said and said, Michelle Obama's more famous than her.
Like,
it's like Jay-Z still Jay-Z, Beyonce. But Richard, from what he's still pretty ugly. Excuse me. In the rap game, he's still pretty ugly. You dig? And Buntle can still be Buntle on the highest level. It's not like he's doing less. You dig? But like the world literally corporatizes and commercializes black women and sells through black women because black women spend the most, right? And because the world knows how to leverage black women, right now the world pushes black women faster. They get the Instagram pictures and it pushes this quicker. And we're in a world where like men are being like emasculated simply because because they could do the best they can, be honorable men, do whatever they do, but because social media is emasculating this thing, it becomes that. And you've been dealing with a lot of that, and I want
But
to...
Say.
No, I do. I actually want to hear Priddy's answer first.
Well, let me cut myself short because I've gone too far. But I was just trying to really like turn this and create a picture, right?
Sure.
But I mean, I really have to bring it to home before I bring it to what does it mean in social media.
Sure.
As a man, how are you dealing with this? Because like I say, as apartheid literally broke homes, because it emasculated men. Men would be men in their houses, but they boys when they go work for white men. Men who are literally men in their houses today, but they step out in this industry, switch on social media, and literally like they've been diminished because people
Nigeria is
don't
owned by an
understand.
apartheid guy.
Yeah.
So maybe
Elon
that's
Musk
why.
is fucking racist.
Maybe
But
that's
anyway,
why,
let me throw you that.
Let's hear your answer.
Yeah,
Priddy.
I mean, very insightful, Slick. Yeah, and I agree fully, man. I think for me, what has been fortunate for me is, or my advantage is that one, me and Buntle built our relationship outside of social media before. Like we were already, by the time we were prominent on social media, we'd already been together 8 years or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a couple who become stars or whatever and then find each other through through the industry and then start dating, and then we have all these societal pressures and what social media feels like we should be and whatever. Me and Bunte were homies and friends way before we were known as Pretty Ugly and Bunte Mudisele,
Rick J,
and Rick J, you know what I mean? And I think what helps me also is that like I come from a sporting background. So as a result, like I've always been, for lack of a better word, somewhat popular, right? You get that sports fame, that high school, primary school, like sports, thing. The sports guys are like well known or whatever. So as a result, like I excel so well in that. Like you excel so much that people get to a point where they want to see you lose. Because like, every year he wins, So now it's like I'm running and like they're cheering for the guy who's coming second and third place and instead of me, you know what I'm saying? And
You like to humble people.
so it's just like, so now coming back into the industry, it's just like I'm already used to people trying to bring me down. You know what I'm saying? So my skin is so thick that like I can't be affected by what people say online. And also the other thing, man, is like people who are on these platforms behind their phones or whatever are just projecting. Because the majority of these people, because I'm so secretive that like there's nobody who knows anything I do, unless I let you know like what I'm doing. So it's like if you are online speaking about my bank account and my this, it's like I know that you don't know, So it means like I can't get affected by you like spreading a lie, because like it's not actually the truth, Maybe I'll feel affected if there was truth and merit to what this person is saying, like Priddy, he's been up and coming for 10 years. I know, it's like every time I'm trending online, like when Buntle sees it, she'll be like, oh, what are you trending for now? It's like it's never like oh damn, we're trending, like, oh, what's happening? It's like, oh, what is it now? What are they saying? It's like, oh, people are coming at me because I'm a present father.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like people are projecting because like people see the symbolism of this ideal family, and they looking at themselves and thinking, yo, I don't have my father around me. You know what I'm saying? Or my mom and dad are always fighting and whatever. So it's like when they see an image of what seems to be a family that has it together, it's like they need to poke holes at it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it can't be real. I know we see someone's cheating there somewhere, even if they don't know it, but they'll spread that rumor nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? I know.
So you don't think it's personal? You think
it's not? I don't think it's personal at all, because none of them know me on a personal level.
Yeah.
I think it's just projecting.
It comes back to social media is emasculating. Now, it don't matter whether you guys knew each other before. It's a character thing.
Yeah.
Because character could be like, I never grew on social media, but I can say social media can make me feel a certain way. That's why I don't fucks with it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's character also, right? So, and it's also, is it true love also at the same
for
time?
sure,
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's all those things count in it, and that's why I go. Social media is emasculating black men.
I agree.
And regardless of when you've been in it or not, and there are women, in my view, and Atlee, y'all feel free. I don't want to make this like a male's view perspective, but there are women who like, shout out to Winkler, who literally like are able to still know who they are.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying it's almost like, so I'm gonna throw some history.
Sure.
Men were called in to enable white corporate. Those are all the politicians that are sitting leading the country. Men were called in to enable white corporate, to trade in South Africa. So then when they created BEE, you found black men being moved in positions where if you've got a black guy who's actually a partner in a global thing, that means that your global corporate is legit.
For sure.
So we started seeing a progressive, what they call maybe black diamonds, black men who are, now these men were the men that actually like were probably in marriages with women who were supposedly like earning less, supposed to be wives, whatever the stereotypical mind of what a wife is, right? These men, they started fleeing. They started losing the plot. They're the ones that started disconnecting with families, right? But as these men, because now the world is set up for this country, for global to trade. We probably have sold everything. But then they go, but who's buying? It's the women that are buying. Then it moves, and like the powers, you know, when they say there's a plant, like when they say Drake is a plant, so and so is a plant. So black men were the plant to enable global commercialism.
Industry plants.
To almost open the door. As we could say, Barack Obama is the plant for a black woman like Michelle Obama to make more black people purchase because she's a black mother.
Sure.
Like Jay-Z, Beyonce, you can't say Jay-Z did that, but Jay-Z is the gateway of thinking that you could be your own boss and everybody could be comfortable with that. And then when Beyonce comes across and says, I'm independent as an own boss, a man has literally, it's almost like men literally like set up the world. But then men also realize, hey, and it's not a chauvinistic thing. The truth of the matter is that it's men that are controlling finances in the world. Then men go, but who buys? You know, and then they go, the woman buy. So immediately the black man who was the black diamond moves down and the black woman starts being pushed up. And when the black woman starts being pushed up, the black woman starts fleeing like the black man. And the black woman doesn't want to be a family woman anymore. And the black woman is chasing like the clout they needed. You know, I don't want a man who's driving a Z3 from 2016, a Z1, whatever those cars are called, from 2016 that goes to Durban once a year. Then black women start speaking like, because now they realize, capitalism realizes that that's where the pocket is. So then we start having our women fleeing, which is what our men did also. So you can't also like be mad at women because our fathers, the diamonds, also did that. But there were men who were diamonds who held it down with family. And there are women who are literally like, we'd say even like in your relationship, like Winkler is not like, oh, you know what? Because that's the perception, right? So unfortunately we're being played.
For sure.
But like the black family is breaking up. And that's why social media, literally like a bunch of the people on social media don't have a mother or father that's consistent in their lives. Broken that's the system.
100%.
But anyway, I leave that.
That kind of breaks down what that song "Broken Home" is about, really. Actually.
You know what I like feel about from the beginning of this topic, right? Firstly, I feel like social media is fake, you know. I feel like it takes with the rate that we're going, right? I feel like it takes someone who you have to be strong in a certain sense, or you have to be not easily influenced and whatnot, you know? And a lot of people don't have that.
They don't.
Right? And when it comes to, it's easy to get influenced, it's easy to, you want to seek validation to fit in and all of that, you know? And that's where the problem starts. What I feel about the whole Barack and Jay-Z reference is that being in your own lane and being confident in the fact that this is my lane, I've mastered this is what I'm known for. You know, that's what you need to have. With Barack, okay, we can talk about what he said about Michelle, but like, he's the first Black president. That's what he's known for, that's his lane. With Jay-Z, he's a business mogul, he's a billionaire, you know, that's what he's known for. Beyonce is on stage, you know, that's her lane, you know? So with Priddy, him saying that, people are always gonna talk, you know, and social media will always have its opinion and perspective. But the fact that he knows himself, Winter knows herself, and they in their own lanes doing their own thing, and they come back home and it's like, shout out, you did your thing, I did my thing. But the fact that they're putting that out there and they've mastered their craft and they're in their lane and they don't seek the validation, I feel like that's everything and I feel like that's powerful.
So Priddy, you know, this album for me, when I was listening, you know, as Atli was saying, there's a lot of heartfelt moments, you know. It felt like, I think maybe because we're just grieving as South African music, hip hop, you know, there was like, you know, had Tato, talking about that AKA Cape to Cairo. Zulu Mecca even was like, I get uncomfortable when they call me a king. And there's like, so I just want to know like the mood when you're recording this album. Like, I don't know if you had sessions with these niggas or did this come from like conversations that you were having?
I mean, when I was working on this album, I was very sad. I was down. I felt like I was trapped. I felt trapped. I felt caged. But working on the music was seamless. You know, me and Mash. I mean, the majority of the music that you're hearing, we had two camps, and each of the camps were about like 4 days long, and all the music that you're hearing was recorded in that 10 days.
Shit.
And that's the music that I gave to the label. So granted, like maybe their reservations was because like they didn't hear the complete song. They hadn't heard the Tato feature yet, you know? They hadn't heard the Maglera feature yet. I had these songs, I'm like, yo, on this song, Jack, I wanna get Maglera. This one, I wanna get Tato. You know, I'm thinking Zulu Mecca on this one. So it's like they also are hearing the songs very incomplete, which is also why I also give them the benefit of the doubt and saying that maybe they just did not resonate with it because it was incomplete. But for me and Mash, when we were having this conversation, Mash was just like, yo, man, like, never mind what the label is saying, bro. It's like we shouldn't wait for the label to tell us what to do. They must be happy with what we give them. When we give them this album and we say we're done with this album, then it's their job to handle the business of it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So just back to making the music is like the only person I was actually in studio with when I was working on the music was Zulu Mecca. I just so happened to be with her when she recorded her verse. But what I like to do with my features is like, I actually don't like to be in the studio with the artist because I don't want you to dictate like what I must do with this song, especially if it's on my album. It's my album. So I work on the beats with the producers, I work on the chorus, I work on the verse, and when it's done, then I think about like, yo man, you know who I think, like with Family Man, with Tato, it's like, if you look at Tato's social media, every 2 weeks, Tato's like at a funeral. It's an RIP so it's just like, so initially when people are seeing that I want to feature Tato, they're like, yo, let's get Tato on Jaga. And I'm like, I mean, that's cool, but he already has Never Ride. You know, that's like almost the same
It's
type.
knowing the artist.
You know what I'm saying? But like, if you guys really pay attention to Tato is grieving.
I like that.
So let's put him on a song where he can address those kind of things.
That's very
You know what I'm
sincere.
saying?
That's very
Maglera already knew. With Jaga, I'm like, that's my dog. I'm like, this song, I know you're gonna mess with it, you know? It took me a while, I won't lie, to get the Maglera verse. I had to like...
Why? You have
he knows this
Maglera on
also.
like, on all 3 projects.
Yeah.
Like,
Maglera and Blackie are the only two that are
Blackie's on
every...
2. Is he on 3 of them?
He's on...
Is he on
Soil, he's on Dead Jungle.
Jungle, yeah.
On Mud, he's on Win with Zuchi.
Oh yeah.
And we actually
he
shot
is
a video to Win, and then it just didn't look dope, and I just didn't want to drop it. Most other rappers and artists I feel like would have dropped that video, but for me, like I felt like I would have been doing a disservice to like my my followers,
Speaking of videos, you used to work with
Nkululeko Lebongo.
Kulego. Yeah.
The Win video was the last video I shot with him, and I'll just put it out there. I think a lot of people have been wondering, like, what's happening with Nkululeko? So Nkululeko used to shoot my videos, and he's also used to shoot Shane Eagle's videos, and they had like a little bit of a dispute with Vaughn and Shane back then when they were working on Shane stuff. So when it came time to working on visuals for Mad, Vaughn and them and Fred Mercury were kind of producing and directing like the videos, right?
So
and I wasn't happy with the videos, I felt like we did what we could do, but I was like, yo, man, I'm trying to shoot movies.
Because you're the video guy.
Yeah, so I'm like, dog, I need everything to be like a movie, So I'm like, I want to get DNA. They're like, DNA takes too long to deliver or whatever. And I was like, yo, man, trust me, let's get DNA. And we get DNA and we shoot Por Favor, Rap Relay, and 30 Minutes to Soweto. We shot that all in one day.
Those are movies.
Bear in mind, we gave him a budget for one music video. He was like, yo, bro, like, there's another location I saw just down the road. Let's go shoot some scenes for that other video there and whatever. And anyway, and then he was able to deliver. He delivered 3 music videos,
Get
right?
Maglera acting on that.
Yeah, you know what I'm
the
saying?
cameras? What's wrong with you guys?
For me, I was like, yes, my boy DNA, we got like Saha
We got
nominations.
lazy guys behind these cameras. After they're shooting this interview, they're gonna go, yo, it's funny, the Monday Streety podcast.
Nah, dude. Nkululeko would call me.
Let's shoot 3 episodes.
Let's shoot 3 episodes, niggas.
Nah, dude. I'll be honest. Nkululeko will be done shooting like a Riky Rick music video, Stay Shining. He's like, yo, Mfana, I still got the cameras. I just wrapped up here with Riky Rick at midnight. But like, if you can pull up at 2 a.m. and we can meet up in Santon somewhere in the streets, we can try to shoot something. That's kind of like how I did my stuff. So we shot those videos with them. They got nominated. Everything was good. And so then I was obviously able to like, now because we've trusted him, he's put together a good job, put together like good visuals. I was able to be like to the label, like, yo, man, can we give him a bit more budget? Because like if he did those 3 videos with that amount of budget, imagine if we give him a little extra, which we did. And to go shoot the Win video, which is on Dust, and we were shooting 16:32. And he delivered the video, the 16:32 video. I wasn't really blown away by it. It was okay.
I'm so sad about that song.
Me too. It needed to be a film, but like it didn't really work out. He lost some of the footage. And then the Win music video, he delivered it and very late. It took like a couple of months, 5 months later. I wasn't happy with it. I gave him notes to go fix. Until this day, I haven't received the video again. So obviously now he's broken that trust. I've never spoken about it on a public platform, but I still got love for you, bro. Wherever you're at, like I'm sure we can resolve it. But it now makes it difficult for me to go back to the label and be like, yo, let's get this guy to shoot the video. Because they've already given us money.
Yeah.
Because now they're sitting there like, yo, man, we gave you about 50K. We haven't got our video back, Sure. We could be suing this guy. But we're not. That's your boy, so you will deal with it with your boy. So as a result, like I'm not working with DNA anymore. So now the labels, has decided who we're shooting the videos with. But we're shooting with the Children of Midas now, which is like they shoot all the videos at the Stalo for the Stalo artists. And I'll be honest, I don't really have creative control over the videos right now. However, that's just in Jaga. Children of Midas shot in Jaga. There's a new one called Morsha that's dropping now. But everything else that you're seeing in between, everything else that you're seeing in between. I did the Peace for Peace music video. Yeah. I did No Plans with Buntle. We're in the dark by the rain in the Busheshe. Yeah. Those are videos that I done myself, Because also like, with the label, unfortunately, we agree on certain visuals for the songs, and then budgets don't align anymore. And it's just like, yo, now instead of having 5 music videos, you can only have 2. But for me, I feel like, but for this album to work, we kind of need to drop 8 videos, So like all the other videos, I'm going and paying for them out of my own pockets. And literally, I'm finding kids on social media. Guys are reaching out to me. I'm opening DMs, and it's a kid just like, yo, man, I'm in Joburg. I'm from PE. I got my camera. Would you be down to shoot a video? And and I reach out to him, and we do it. And that's kind of how I got the Peace for Peace music video. Yeah, man, and shout out to like all the creators, man, like that have been like really like. There's been a lot of people like I feel like how I've been able to roll out this album. Like I think a lot of people think like, yo, but the PR now is improved. It's like no, it's actually just because people have been showing love, and people I'm like, yo, man,
this
like
album is moving on its own,
yeah,
bro.
it really
like
is,
the numbers are Crazy.
So I mean, we're clocking like 3 million streams just on Spotify now. Just on Spotify, and Jaga's about to close in on 2 million streams as well.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Shout out to you for that. And I saw there's a song on the album,
Yeah.
right? And it has like kids on the ad-libs.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yeah.
I wonder, were they in studio or
Yeah.
was it like
Yeah.
how was that?
It's 2 kids. So basically,
Yeah.
they live in my complex, and one of them is a boy named Lebo, and he walks my dog.
Yeah.
Often, like for whatever reason, my dog fancies this boy,
Yeah.
And because every time he just walks past, the dog is always like shaking and wagging his tail or whatever.
I'm sure the
Yeah.
dog is not waiting for him to grow so he can
Yeah,
eat
baby,
him. I'm like,
baby,
I'm
you
gonna
know?
eat this baby once the
Nah,
baby's grown.
Dogs don't eat people.
Please
bro.
don't do that. There's already
You're
a
not a
bad
liar.
There's already a bad narrative around pit bulls. So
That's what
my
I'm
dog
saying.
is very
The pit bulls come-
friendly. You know what I mean?
Ngiyamkhulisa lona. It's uncapped. He's not one day.
So these lighties, so when I'm recording in my studio, I have the lights on. So I guess from outside, people can see like the Priddy's there recording or whatever. So I think these kids were just walking past, and like for many days they kept coming to the door, knocking, walking the dog, and then like after they bring the dog back, they say, "Yo, Priddy, can we please record?" And I'm like, dog, do you guys make music? Like, no, but like, hey, we want to learn. It's like,
Say something.
But it's like, these are like 10-year-old kids,
Yeah.
And then one day they came and I was working on this Prophet song.
Yeah.
And they knock on the door, and I thought they were there to walk the dog. And then the kids are like, "No, we heard you working on music. Can we come in?" And I was like, okay, cool. I thought about it because I'm like, I need to speak to their parents first. But I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm like, oh, come in. And it's just 2 of them. And they came in, and I'm like, okay, there's this song. Here's the song. It's playing. You guys like it? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, cool. What I just need you guys to say is, your energy is toxic. That's all you gotta say, right? It took me 2 hours to get them to just do that. Like, they have no experience, they have no confidence and whatever, But and basically,
And
like,
a lot of laughing.
there was like a lot of that, And what I did is that like it's 2 of them, so like I just recorded layers of them doing it just to make it seem like there's more of them,
Yeah.
and I just backed it up to make it seem like it's a choir.
Like a lot.
And their parents have since reached out to me. Their parents are like so proud. But obviously, like, there's also that narrative where like I'm sure like they look at social media and they see, oh, 1 million streams. Oh shit, he made R1 million from the song.
Hey.
So
Now
now,
you gotta go
you gotta
explain
deal with
and
you gotta
explain.
explain to parents and like, yo, listen.
Doesn't work like that. bro.
It's not like I made R1 million from the song, So
So Prophet is second verse of Prophet is interesting to me.
get the money, get
Yeah,
the bag.
was that that flow reminds me of that what's that Nasty C song?
Granted, it does have
Blackout.
It's blackout.
Yeah. Was that an intentional thing? Yeah,
You know what's
yeah.
crazy about that? As I actually sent Nasty C that song. I sent him a couple of songs. There's a few people who are supposed to be on this album
Oh, Nasty.
that I sent
would've been
the
crazy.
album to.
Who are some of the people that should have been on the album that never, let's just say they never brought back the verses on time?
Yeah, there's a few. Shout out Nasty. I think when I reached out to him was when his girl was just about to give birth or had just
Okay.
given birth. So I guess like he was just like in a different space. But he
How
was very,
niggas is
he was
old
very open.
parents now.
He was right. Yeah, he was very open to do the song, to work on it. But I guess it was just a timing thing. Myself and KO, was supposed to close in on Jaga, and it didn't happen. But it happens, It happens.
KO
But I
supposed to be
saw
on
them
Jaga.
asking for a remix. on
Yeah,
the
the streets are asking for a remix now.
He was supposed to be on Jacket.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
he
Asking
was.
for a remix. Pretty.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, the streets are asking for that remix. And
just hit up KO, bro.
Casper was also one of the people who I'd reached out to, and we were speaking about it. It just never materialized. MT was supposed to be on Morsha.
Okay.
D Koala was supposed to be on Morsha as well.
I can hear that.
And then but I think ultimately the people who ended up being on the album were the people who were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's no love lost.
You hardly
on it.
ever get all the features in an album.
Yeah, you never. I've never have it. And this is the album. This is the first album that I've ever reached out to people. Usually I don't reach out to people. I literally would reach out. I'm like, yo, Cass, what's up? Hey, yo, big homie KO. Dintang, what and all of them that I sent the music to, actually like the music, and then things happen in between that. I don't know what happens when people aren't able to deliver. Sometimes it's a space thing, and I don't take it personally. Like there's been a lot of people who've sent me a song that I really like, and then I just never. I take time, or I'm not in the right space, and then they drop the song, and then it's over.
And you're like, hey, I know this.
But yeah, maybe Njaka remix coming soon. You guys suggest, I see Twitter. I mean, social media
Let's
is like.
Let's go.
They
What do
split
you want?
decisions. There's a lot of
I
people
saw that.
saying they want the remix a lot, and a lot of them are saying that we don't need the remix for this thing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I wanna-
remixes are sometimes are not needed.
yeah,
I wanna-
I've
I
never
wanna-
done a remix, so I wanted to
But the
try
thing
it,
is,
you know?
the original song stays there anyway. So it's not
Sure,
like
yeah,
it
no.
ruins the song. Like people always say, it's like, you don't like the remix, just listen to the original song.
Sure,
It's
exactly.
that simple.
I think it also gives the song like extra
It
legs.
gives
you
it
know?
longevity.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose of remixes. Remixes literally it's like, we saw with water, it's the remix with Travis Scott is not bigger than the original,
Sure.
but it keeps the conversation going,
100%, yeah. In closing, everybody stay prayed up, man. God is real, and God is the reason I'm here. And the line that Slikour was quoting now is, "Don't be a jack of all trades, but you master none. Learn to master some, but there's nothing more entitled than the master son." I go by the name of Pretty Ugly. Dust is out now. Go get it.
That's a hot ass line, y'all.
Fire.
Peace, guys. And I want to say, shout outs from us and this fly that has been keeping us company.
This
here. I don't get it. Like,
Broadcast live